mp4 HR is a Midwest-based company that provides unmatched human resources outsourcing for small to mid-sized businesses. We deliver what matters to you through authentic connections and relentless accountabilities. We help our clients through many difficult employee scenarios, one of them being how to navigate through mental health-related scenarios at work. Helping an employee through a difficult time or condition in their life is not for the faint at heart, but our roles as leaders require us to handle these circumstances with both empathy and keeping compliance in mind. Ready to dive into this very complicated topic? Here's what you should expect to take away from this very short learning lesson today. First, why should we even discuss mental health at work? Why is talking about mental health important to my role as a leader? What are some key indicators that somebody might be struggling with their mental health? When do I need to take action, and how does mental health interact with leave laws like the FMLA and ADA? And then what resources are available out there that I can offer up to employees who might be struggling with their mental health? Mental health awareness has reached a crossroads in our society. Singers, actors, athletes, and other prominent social figures are speaking out about their struggles with a variety of mental health issues. While these kinds of stories have helped break down some of the stigma around mental health, employees still might not feel comfortable or even safe talking about their mental health at work. Yet the Harvard Business Review estimates that over 200 million workdays are lost due to mental health conditions each year. That equates to over $16 billion in lost employee productivity. With such staggering numbers, did that make you pause a little bit and ask yourself why mental health isn't more prioritized in the workplace? At mp4 HR, we know some of the reasons that mental health sometimes takes the back burner. It can be things like time, money, resources, or even concern of risk to the business. And we get it. Tackling mental health initiatives is a task that requires significant attention, but it's a topic that's not going out of demand anytime soon. According to a study by the National Library of Medicine, over 80% of employees will experience a diagnosable mental health condition in their lifetime. You might ask yourself, who's driving this conversation around mental health? Set to make up the largest part of our workforce in the next couple of years, the Millennial and Gen Z generations are making their demands known for sure. With an already high turnover rate, many studies have shown that mental health was a significant factor in these two generations leaving for another employer. These generations also feel more comfortable seeking diagnosis, treatment, and talking about their struggles at work. They expect their employer to join in on their dialogue a little bit further and to do something more to help. Spotting significant mental health indicators can sometimes be tricky. It's crucial to look for them happening over a bit of time. Everybody has a bad day at work where they can't concentrate, make mistakes, or just plain out of it. But mental health indicators happen over typically a sustained period of time. So here are a couple of things to take note of. First, a change in appearance. Sometimes employees with a mental health struggle can have a difficult time practicing grooming habits or even choosing clothing for the day. Next, they might become socially withdrawn. Maybe your employee who's normally always down to go out to lunch or play on the company kickball team suddenly bows out. Another indicator is difficulty in completing group projects or collaborating with others at work. Maybe it's a decrease in productivity. Sometimes a decrease in productivity or performance and how it's related to a mental health struggle can also be difficult to spot, but look for indicators from that person's past behavior. Maybe your most creative team member's trademark spark has fizzled, or the person that you can always count on adhering to deadlines suddenly starts missing their mark. Before jumping to conclusions, it's important to ask them just what's going on. Maybe there's also an increase in attendance issues showing up. Again, compare that person's past behaviors to their current behaviors. Maybe your employee who was normally always on time is coming in late every single day. Maybe they're calling in sick unexpectedly. Are they missing deadlines or meetings altogether? And then the last thing is behavior changes. Does the employee seem to maybe not be able to control their emotions? Do they have outbursts or mood swings? Maybe that person seems like they're having a really hard time dealing with small or little things at work. Disruptive behavior, disregarding rules, or acting overly aggressive can all be signals of a mental health struggle. As a leader, you play a role in helping somebody through a mental health struggle by being open-minded and empathetic. You can encourage openness about mental health by modeling disclosure and vulnerability as strengths rather than weaknesses, and making it known that you're a safe space to discuss such issues with. If you notice any of those previously mentioned mental health indicators, you should document your concerns and then talk with the employee using empathy and concern for their well-being. When you're documenting your concerns, don't insert personal opinions. Simply record your observations or maybe some of the actions that the employee has taken that is causing you to have concern about them. When you bring it up in discussion with them, don't try to diagnose or pry too far into their potential medical issues. Doing so could make your conversation look discriminatory based on your perception of them having a disability. But do listen and let the employee know what options might be available to them that the company can help support. So what are some of those options? Well, here's where our friends FMLA and ADA may come into play. The employee may be able to take a protected leave of absence from the workplace if they're struggling with mental health issues that requires them to take a significant amount of time away from work. Remember, the employer and the employee must be eligible for the FMLA protected leave, and here are those eligibility requirements again. The employer has to employ 50 or more employees during 20 or more calendar weeks during the current or preceding calendar year. And the employee is covered if they've been employed for the last 12 months, if they've worked at least 1,250 hours during the previous 12-month period, and they work at a work site in which the employer employs 50 or more employees within a 75-mile radius of the work site. The ADA may also provide protections for workers whose physical or mental impairment substantially limits one or more major life activities. Some of these major life activities at work could include things like thinking, communicating, or doing the work itself. If an employee is having difficulties with any of these activities or more, the employer may be required to engage in the ADA interactive process by asking how they can help the employee perform the essential functions of their job. Remember that the ADA covers employers with 15 or more employees. So even if they aren't eligible for FMLA protections, they could still be eligible for a reasonable accommodation that doesn't cause an undue hardship to you as the employer, such as a modification to work hours, maybe it's time off for treatment, or even a teleworking arrangement until they get well. In either scenario, there is certain documentation to complete and appropriate questions to ask. So pull in a leave management expert to help you follow the right game plan. Hint, hint, that's us at Empower. Now, if an employee is talking about harming themselves or others, call 911. You have an obligation to protect the employee, other employees, and the company itself from anything that might cause them harm. Some other behaviors that might also indicate a serious risk of suicide or harm to others, especially if this behavior is new, has increased, or seems to be related to a painful event, loss, or change. So some of these examples are, talking about feeling trapped or in unbearable pain, talking about being a burden to others, showing rage or talking about revenge, acting anxious or agitated, and displaying extreme mood swings. Ask that person if they need help, and you can encourage the individual to call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. The Lifeline is a 24-hour toll-free number for people who are in suicidal crisis or emotional distress, and we have the number here listed for you. So in addition to utilizing some of these state and federal protections, you can help an employee through a difficult situation by providing them with trusted resources to seek help or treatment. An Employee Assistance Program, or EAP, is a great starting place to point an employee to. EAPs offer counseling services for employees to speak with a third-party professional, which can really help alleviate what might be burdening their mind. You could also think about starting an employee resource group, or ERG, that focuses on mental health. Here at Empower, we have a mental health ERG that offers interactive sessions on burnout and understanding your own personal energy levels. The group also sponsors wellness initiatives, like some really nice massages in the office, as well as hydration stations. Members of our ERG are also known as a safe space to go to have an open and honest discussion if you're struggling with any mental health related issues that you just need to get off of your chest. Another thing that you could consider is making sure that your policies, like your PTO or bereavement policies, support a healthy work life integration. Taking time away from work to decompress and clear our heads is crucial to supporting mental health. If an employee lets you know that they're struggling with substance use and they want to get help, you can create a recovery friendly agreement that allows them to seek the treatment that they need while still maintaining employment with you. The ADA or FMLA may still intersect here, so it's important to make sure that you're documenting correctly, but it's also important to note that substance use issues don't give employees a free pass to show up to work under the influence or violate your company policies. So it's really important to maintain open lines of communication and set clear expectations with that individual on your safety standards. Lastly, you can make sure that your workplace culture itself can be the strongest proponent of mental health. Invest in training resources to ensure that all employees know how to name, navigate, and normalize mental health at work. Shift your view of mental health and destigmatize it by looking at it as a part of diversity, equity, and inclusion. There's no one check the box response to mental health. Every employee situation will be different. That's why it's so important to make it clear that your company is committed to following clear processes and being a support system for those who might be struggling with a mental health issue. Working through and staying compliant with mental health issues can be a very challenging thing. So, if what you heard today resonates with you, check out our website, send us an email, give us a call, or check us out on social to learn more about how we can help you work through very difficult mental health issues in the workplace.